Last time I saw some of you, it was under cover of darkness, and please don't talk to anybody until November the 1st, and somebody did, of course, and the secret got out, and we're all running around like headless chickens for 2 weeks. But here we are, 30 days later, 100 countries later, and all over the place. So very excited about that. Ken asked me if I could come on to Skype and do a Q&A session, and a bit like David Cameron, I said, yeah, I'll answer questions all day and all night as long as I know what they are in advance. And so he sent me these questions in advance, and then we started talking about this. I thought, you know what, I'll come down and meet some of you guys, because Pash and the gang and Ken and all the leaders in the room are really, really tearing this up. And who's Aviva? Is she here?
Aviva, please stand up.
Hi. Can I say hello to Aviva? Hello. Right, that's it. Fantastic. Because she's just taken over Russia. And, yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Super duper. Just want to put a password in here. How's that? Okay. Super duper. Right. So yes, I think on what day is it today? Anybody know what day it is?
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. My last 6 months has just blurred into just one 24-hour session after another when all this came about. But what I'd like to do today is I will answer the questions that Ken has posed to me, and we're going to be stopping here tonight. My wife and I are going to be stopping here and get to meet some of you afterwards, so we're not dashing off. And what I would like to go through is a couple of things of the history, how we got here, just to answer a few things for you, and talk to you about how to build Beep, the vision of Beep, how it was put together, and the intention of how we're going to build the company. And also I'd like to talk about communication between the company and you, and how we go forward from here. And you know, people like Aviva have come along, and on Friday there were more Russian visitors to the Beep site. Yeah, you want me over there, do you? Okay, well, is that a trap door? Is this the X Factor?
That's very much the X Factor.
Well,
You're going through to the next round.
Okay. All right. Hello. Good to see you. Yeah. All right. There you go. Fantastic. So I just got the questions here for you to go through, so make sure I get all those questions across to you. But I do want to talk about the history. I do want to talk about communication. I do want to talk about how this, you know, the vision of how this is supposed to be built, and how we're going to communicate with each other. And back to the Aviva thing, taking over half of Russia. On Friday, there were more Russian visitors to the Beep website than any other country in the world. And so there were actually more Russians looking at Beep than any other country in the world. I think number 4 was the Ukraine.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we've done in that, you know, but it's certainly lighting up things over there. And Holland is running up there in the top 10. And I was winding up some of my colleagues in the United States that Russia is beating them hand over fist. And, my niece from El Salvador is over with us. Yeah, don't ring him yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, not for an hour. He's eating.
All right.
Right?
Sorry, it's
Yeah.
there. Anyway.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, naughty bastard. Sorry. Yeah. So is that all okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure? Okay. So yeah, when we get this going, I'll just put it onto full screen there. Can I just put it onto full screen now? Because there's a few codes in there. Yeah. Right. Okay. I promise faithfully to keep that code off public domain. But I came here today begging Angelos to give us some snapshots of Beep Markets and Beep Stores. Beep Stores goes live. That was 4:30. About 6 hours from now. Beep Stores goes live about 2 hours early, and someone said to me, "You're a month late." I said, "Now hang on a minute. We set this out to launch on November the 1st. That was the intention, to go live on November the 1st, and that's exactly what we did. And always, you can't launch a company like Beep and go online on November the 1st, because how many shops have you got 1 minute past midnight on November the 1st? None. Okay? So it doesn't look very good. So we always had this discussion internally in the office as to how long it was after launch before we went live in the shops. And the IT, this is where IT and sales always argue. Okay? IT says 3 months. I went into fits of laughter, and then they came down to 60 days, and now I've got a straight face. And then I said 30 days after launch we'll launch Beep Stores, and then IT department, because there's more IT than sales in Beep. The entire company is an IT company. So if people talk about Beep, Beep is top to bottom an IT company, and that's what I recognised when I created Beep. To do something like this, you've got to have the dream team in IT. You've got to give incredible support, and from IT top to bottom. The sales side of it is us, okay? But the beauty of the sales department is the managing director, the person that owns the company, me, is sales, 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 okay? So I recognise everything that the salespeople go through and represent you from that angle, and always will do. Someone said to me, "Will you ever sell the company?" I always love that question. Somebody came along and offered me £32 billion, what would you say? Right? Give me a quarter of a nanosecond to decide. Okay? But one thing you'll always get from me is a promise that if somebody huge came along and offered a huge amount of money, it's never for sale if it alters the compensation plan one tiny bit. Never. Okay? Because that is, I've always said that all salespeople understand that they are the lifeblood of the company. And one of the greatest companies I saw is Rolls-Royce Aero Engines. They've got salesmen who travel the world, and they're never seen inside the factory for 1 year to the next. You don't just get an order for a Rolls-Royce engine, an aero engine that flies aircraft every 5 minutes. They go around the world, and when they walk into the factory, they're treated like gods when they walk into the aerospace factory, because the whole factory understands that if that salesman doesn't bring home the bacon, if that salesman doesn't bring in the work, there is no jobs, there's nothing. And one thing we recognise with Beep, the IT team does understand the sales and marketing of Beep from day one. So what we did is we launched on November 1st, and if you went to Beep Stores at midnight November 1st, you saw that the countdown clock went down to 0, and then you went to Beep Stores, there was a 30-day countdown clock for Beep Stores, and that expires, I think, at midnight tonight. So we made it with 2 hours to spare, okay? There's only one thing we had a little hiccup on, was the languages, and it wasn't the languages, it was the English language that caused the hiccup, believe it or not. And I'll explain that, and I'll explain exactly what I mean about that. And then we're going to run like crazy over the next 7 to 10 days to catch up on the languages. Okay, so that's about the only thing that we're actually a little bit behind the ball on. The history of it was, people think, did you get mad with a previous company? Well, I didn't get mad with a previous company. I got mad with about 5 or 6 previous companies, if you want the truth. I've been in business for 25 years plus. And I've always, how many of you have been in a business where you found out the company was run by crooks, or run by fools, right? Or run by crooks and fools. That's worse, isn't it? Okay? The crook doesn't even know he's an idiot. Or how many of you have been in business with people who are just incompetent? Yes. And you're looking at the owner of the company. I hope you're not looking at me thinking this. looking at the owner of the company thinking, I can do better than that, okay? And there's a book out years ago called The E-Myth, which is called The Entrepreneurial Myth.